You might be wondering how's the lifestyle as an expat pilot in China. Let me tell you that moving abroad is one of the best things you could ever do in your life. I was really afraid back in Mexico when I tried to move to China just because I was surrounded by people who has like old mindset. It's not bad to have an old mindset, but they never push you to move abroad just because you are afraid when you're moving to another country because you don't know what will expect. You you don't know what's going on outside of your country, and of course when you are moving outside of your country, you are moving away from your comfort zone. And always every time is really painful when you move out of the comfort zone, but believe me, if you are trying to move abroad, is one of the best decisions ever. And it's not just because the way of moving and experience a new life and new stuff is way much beyond like that. I have been living here in China for around 7 years, and what I realized is like first and I already told you is like getting out of my comfort zone before I already know the flights. I already know what to expect. I raised my career there, so I was pretty comfortable and pretty happy over there. But I just always wanted to go abroad and try new stuff, new things, new environment. This reminds me when I was in my first flight from China to Japan. I was so fucking scary. It was very one night before that flight. I was so worried about that. I checked the weather, I checked all the route, I try to remember the things. But of course, when you don't know anything of these two countries and then you suddenly move there, of course you have the training before. They told you what to expect, but it's not the same city here talking about the routes, talking about the weather. And other completely different thing is when you are inside of the cockpit and everything is going on there. You need to take care a lot of things, and plus you are very nervous about the first flights because of it's something different. I just remember that I was so overwhelmed at that moment, and I was like, "What? Why, Eric? Why you are here? Why you just don't stay in Mexico, doing your same flight, Monterrey, Cancun, and just living the chill life?" And during the approach, the Japanese. I couldn't understand that well, the Japanese ATC, and it just feels very overwhelmed. But then 7 years later, I can tell you it's the best decision I ever made because now I learned how to fly in China. I learned how to fly in Japan, and makes you feel proud about yourself. It's making you proud because you just move and did the things that few people are willing to do. That, at least for myself, is making me so happy that I just don't stay in Mexico because I was really afraid. Not only myself, my relatives, my friends, they were also really afraid, and some of them, they want to protect you, and the way to protect you is to share the fear that they have. I remember my aunt, she just said like, why you want to move to China? It's useless. You don't need to go there. It's so far away from Mexico. What would you do with your family? Blah 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 blah. And it's just because she was afraid. She was afraid that I will move there, and we don't know anything. I'm sure that if you didn't come to China before, 80% of the things that you learn from China are completely wrong. Completely wrong. Here is an amazing country. It's been a very pleasant journey here, living in China, working here. So that's another thing that you learn how the things move in other countries. Even though we live in the same world, the manage of the airplane, the manage of the routes is completely different. And this is not bad. Every geography, every location in the world has a specific problem to solve. They have a specific requirements. They have a specific law. For example, it's not the same flying in Canada. They have, I think, 7 8 months per year snowing. I don't know how many months, but they are very good at the icing and anti-icing procedures. Compared, for example, with Africa or Middle East, that they have a very very hot weather. The airplane is the same. You are flying your approach. You are landing with the same laws, with the same physics laws, but you have different requirements. In Canada, you need to learn more about icing procedures, what will affect to you. And in Middle East, you need to learn more about what's going on with the dust, with the sand, with the hot weather conditions, how the aircraft will perform. And it's not because one pilot is better than the other one, it's just different requirements for the safety of the flight. The other thing for moving abroad is like you will meet new people, and not just a new people from different countries. The first time that I arrived to the CrossFit, I start to training. The coach was Turkey. My colleagues, my classmates, they were the people that I was training with. There were French people, Russian, Chinese, and I was feeling so proud that day. The first day that I was like, wow! It was the first time that I was training in English, and the second, it's just so unbelievable. This is just so impressed how other people around the world is training, and you are sharing the same passion. At that moment was CrossFit. I was sharing my passion for doing workouts with them, and you learn new stuff, and you can. It's just expand your mind. Yeah, when I was in Mexico, my mind it was very close. Like I heard that the French people is like this. I heard that Chinese people is like that, but I never, ever have a talk with them before. And now that I have the opportunity, it was like, wow, it's just feeling so mind blowing. Then, and the other thing that is super important, now we are in an over-connected world. If we want, we cannot be bored, and we can talking with anyone at any time. You just that feels very overwhelmed for me, and it's very important that you need to learn how to be alone. If you move abroad, 99% of the time you won't know anyone there, or you might just know few people. But that's very it's very important for develop yourself. How you know you like the chocolate ice cream? Because you already tried the chocolate ice cream. Why you know that you don't like the vanilla flavor? Because you already tried the vanilla flavor. But how can you say I don't like the strawberry flavor if you never tried it before? You need to learn how, and this is a very stupid example, but when you are surrounded all the time by people, let's say your parents, your relatives, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, you need to share your time with the other people. And let's say, for example, you might not be that hungry, but if your partner is hungry, I'll say, okay, let's go and eat, right? And they're very small things that when you are not alone, you cannot understand what you want. For example, myself in Mexico, I was surrounded by a lot of lovely people. I was really happy at that moment, but I was feeling also overwhelmed. I didn't know that I like myself. I really like to spend time by myself doing my stuff. That's why, for example, I'm doing this video because I have time for myself. But I didn't know that before because I was always surrounded by people. I was always meeting friends, meeting my family, etc. So I couldn't find that time for myself, which when I move abroad, now I have plenty of time for myself. And that was very good because now I reconsider what I like in life, what I things that I used to do before and now I'm not doing it. For example, I used to spend time for people that I just don't like it. Especially in Mexico, they're very overwhelmed with the family. They say families first, which is true, but with the family that show you loyalty, that shows you respect. Why you want to stay with your aunt that she always point your weakness and she is not trying you to support. She's always drained your energy. And in Mexico, we have this kind of, for myself, is wrong mindset. Like, you need to support your aunt because it's your aunt and you're always gonna be your aunt and you don't know when you will need the support for herself. But now I realize that no, if I don't like her, I just don't want to talk with her. I just don't want to see her. Well, it's a little bit hard to share you this kind of feelings because probably if you're not from Latin America, probably it's more you don't have these kind of things. But my point of telling you this is that you will know more about yourself in every single aspect of your life. So that's you will have time that you didn't have before, and that's very important for your development. For example, I'm creating this content. I have been creating for more than 5 years, and I'm sure that if I stay in my country, I will never ever do social content, or it will take me way much time to do it because I don't have enough time for myself. I couldn't explore this hobby because it's just like I was so busy all the time. And sometimes you don't need to be busy. Sometimes you just need to pay attention of your thinkings, of your feelings. And the most important thing is that you will have a new lifestyle, especially if you move to another continent, which was my case. Like, it's completely different how I live now that I used to live in Latin America, and I love it. And I don't want to go out from Asia, to be honest. Like now, when I come back to Mexico, okay, it's very nice, a few weeks, and then it's like, okay, I need to go back home. Like now I call China my home because I fall in love with the Asian culture. I fall in love with the Chinese culture, with my lifestyle. And that is funny because back in the time I was feeling cultural shock, like the difference. But now I feel the same when I go to Mexico because in Mexico there's a lot of things that I don't like it, that I didn't realize it before that they was always there. So and I didn't miss it, but I didn't know that it was there. That it really really hurts, not hurts me, but it's just feeling overwhelmed for me. Anyways, if you are thinking about to going abroad, there's a lot of airlines that they are hiring, especially in Southeast Asia, Taiwan, in Middle East. They are hiring a lot of people. You just go, just go. Don't think twice. You will lose more if you stay in your country, if you stay in your comfort zone. Believe me, it has been one of the best decisions I could ever make in my life. Being here in China, surrounded by new people, is one of the things that you need to do. Believe me, if you found this video, this is the video, this is the moment that you need just to leave everything. Especially when you are single or you have nothing to lose, like if you can come back, man, just go. Even though if you cannot come back to your own country, you will always find new decisions. You will find new opportunities everywhere. The first move is always the hardest one. It is always the hardest one. But when you go outside, you don't know. Maybe you won't like to come back. For example, I don't want to go back to Mexico only for visit, but living there, it will be very hard for me. Of course, it's my country. I born there, and it should be very easy to come back. Yes, but I don't want to. I just don't want. I just don't want to. I want to stay in Asia. It will happen the same to you. And if it doesn't happen, and you say like, "Oh, I miss so much my country. I don't. I don't like to stay abroad. Well, you just come back and continue working. Like most of you guys that are watching this video, I'm sure that you always have a way to come back. I have my way to come back, but just it won't happen. Believe me, it won't happen, girl. I hope you like this video. Please let me know what you think about that. What topics I might say. I might talk with you. It's really, really a pleasure to speak with you guys. See you in the next one.